Katherine, thank you very much for joining me to talk about developing a PR and media strategy for design agencies. Thanks for your time.
Pleasure. Great to be here.
You're an accredited DBA expert. You've got your own PR consultancy. You work in the design space. So and what we're doing along with this video is we're sharing a guide that members can use as well, and there will be links to that in the details at the end. So, Katherine, my first question would be, how can design agencies actually start in PR and actually see the value that it can bring?
It's a good question because I suspect many will find that to be quite daunting, and it's kind of like, my goodness, where do I actually start? And also, I think at the beginning to understand the value that it can bring to the marketing mix, and not just see PR as a sort of siloed outside of everything else that you're doing within the business, but to think holistically about all of your communications and how PR is one part of the puzzle of your wider kind of new business activity that you'll be doing, and how vital that is to keep working on your building your profile, whether you've got a new project about to launch or it's in the distance. Keeping your profile just sort of bubbling along, making sure there's opportunities there for you to still engage with the industry, will really reap benefits. So how to go about that is to kind of there's a lot of building blocks to put in place before you even go out to those editors and start kind of telling your stories, which I'm sure we'll go through and we cover in our guide. But I would encourage people to think about it as a long-term investment, not just financially, but and in time as well. It's not a quick fix, but that's okay, because you want that to just keep building, and for the business and the business leaders to become known as experts in their field, and that takes time to happen. So and that all reaps benefit for your your new and potential clients, and articulating your brand USP with your wider audience.
Yeah, that fits in very well with the stat that was in the What Clients Think report that came out last year. It's produced by another DBA expert, Jonathan Kirk, and that was 91% design buyers like to discover a new agency rather than feel sold to. Which it's about elevating your profile and putting yourself in front of people.
Yeah, that's really, I mean, that's a very insightful stat, because that just shows you that the power of that third party endorsement still carries huge weight. So it's definitely something to kind of consider. The hard sell has its place, but in reality, that's not how most buyers of services will respond that well to.
You mentioned that that PR is a long game, and I think that there are a lot of businesses out there that might have tried it and given up. What do you see as some of the common mistakes that businesses do when they try PR for the first time?
Managing expectations. I think being mindful of not only what the media landscape is currently looking like, because it's very evolving, and the journalists and editors are typically just under huge amounts of pressure, but also not just thinking about the industry and where you fit into it, and your sector and your niche and your competitors, and then actually being a design agency that produces brilliant work is great, but that's not enough to garner kind of column inches or become noteworthy in itself. It's about using that data that you within that case study and thinking about what your angle is. So I'd also say that kind of not looking at your digital marketing as well in the broader sense can make it much harder to get started, because you've got a lot of catching up to do. So you want to make sure you have your ducks in a row before you go out and make noise about any of your projects. And I would encourage members to think about all of their digital assets, be it their website, their social media channels, or any other place that they manage, that it's not just a portfolio, it's a marketing tool that really allows you to engage with your audiences and develop your own personality and engage with communities. And that's also a great place to start, but also a mistake that businesses can make, thinking, well, if I just put up all this beautiful work, people will just find me.
I see a lot of agencies just having a portfolio of work as opposed to having the work for them.
Exactly. And really putting thought into what were the challenges, what was the problem solved, what's the outcome, and and all those challenges that those who are looking to buy the agency's service will be thinking to get support on.
So, okay, so we're thinking about doing PR. Before we do anything, what is the first thing that we should be doing before we look at leveraging the benefits of PR?
I mean, I think one of the first things to do is really think through about your business goals, your wider aspirations of the year ahead, your business plan and your goals and ambitions, and within that about your positioning within the industry, and being really clear about what you want to be known for, who your target audience is, developing those user personas that you will no doubt be busy doing for your clients, but turning that onto yourself as the business owner of the design business, and thinking, okay, now who are our target audiences and how are we going to reach them? And all of that activity is so useful, not just for your PR campaign and activity, but with your new business, with your staff recruitment, with everyone within the business heading in the same direction. I think it's absolutely invaluable.
Yeah, it really aligns the business together, and you've cracked your positioning. So once those business goals have been defined over what they want to achieve, what is the next stage? What piece of work does the agency need to do?
I think what's always really insightful is actually casting the net around to see what your competitors are doing. Maybe you do a competitor audit of channels. You look at who your competitors are, what do their social media platforms or their coverage look like, and use that as kind of insight as to what the market is responding to. And learning and reflecting on what's gone before, both in your business and others, and really important, if you're looking as a business owner to start off by doing this yourselves rather than coming to an agency, really become familiar with the relevant media for your audiences, and not just thinking your story is, surely everybody wants to know about this. Get niched and think about actually who would be interested, what problem have we solved that could then help someone else.
So now we've got an understanding of what else is out there, what publications are out there. How do we then start to move forward and develop work or items that we can utilize in a PR strategy?
So this is actually often a point where clients might come to us for that sort of additional strategic thinking. And whether you're doing it in-house or externally, this is the point really to develop a strategy and a campaign plan before you go out there. Again, you know, giving yourselves time before something launches, before you've got a big announcement, to really do that thinking is going to reap benefits for you. So within that strategy, we would typically put summaries of USPs and angles and pitches, as well as sort of tactics, you know, some blue sky thinking, and really wrap it into a tangible campaign plan with a timeline. So you're really clear about what needs to happen when. If you've got a particular project that's got a very time sensitive launch date, you know, you really want to have a build up to that point. You can't just suddenly start from scratch and just go the minute the project's live. There's a lot of seeding that can be done beforehand, teeing the journalists up, or the industry or influencers, or whoever you're kind of reaching out to, so that there's an expectation that you've got this news, you've got this new project, you've got new photography or a business win that you can talk about, or the embargo is going to be lifted. And so all of that, to put that in the strategy before you actually go.
So then you just write the same press release, copy and paste, and send it out to everyone in the world.
I mean, there is a place for that. That's not kind of really our style. And I think unless you've got something very newsy, very, very time sensitive that needs to be distributed absolutely exactly at the same time, there is a place to do a kind of a wider announcement, especially if you're under embargo and you've got to wait for your clients to go out with whatever they're launching first. But typically, one would find that we are much more advocates of that one-to-one kind of pitching and bespoke approaches. So that absolutely writing that press release will allow you that thinking time to get all the kind of story and the narrative down about the project and the outcomes and the why and how, and so on and so forth. And then you can use that as the sort of starting point to develop your story for each of the different publications that you're going to, if they require different types of angles depending on what your sector is and what your niche is. So yes. I think that's where, if you've been able to develop those relationships with a key journalist, or if you're working with an agency that has those relationships already, they will be doing the thinking ahead of the news being announced. And so that's where we would always be tailoring according to what they're looking for.
Yes, and I think that's where people fall down. It's understanding that if you're sending it to the trade press that your client sector is in, then you need it to be more business focused and talking about the business challenges. If you are sending it to a design publication, then maybe you can have more imagery and talk about some of the process that was involved and some of the actual crafting of the work.
Yes,
and just understanding the nuance of who you, not just who you're sending it to, but who their readers are and what they're interested in.
That's really, really key, is to essentially think like an editor rather than as the business owner wanting to just broadcast. Yes, absolutely, you've got to get your story right and what actually the narrative was, but then it can be tweaked to kind of make it more external facing.
And then if as an agency, if you are you're not at the stage where you feel that a PR agency is right for you, and you're trying to do some work yourself, how do you start building those contacts, and what do you do? What do you do with them all? How do you know when to send things, and how do you go about doing that?
I mean, I think quite a lot of research and just taking time to understand, read what those journalists are putting out there. Don't go in cold. having never read an article or looked at their socials or looked at their website and just thought, oh, I'll just give it a go because, you know, we've done this great piece of work, because that's an immediate turn off for them. And, you know, social media is a great way to, and LinkedIn, Instagram. I mean, X is a place that journalists still use to kind of source data and source information, but it's also become quite a toxic place. So more and more people are leaving that platform. But there's lots of different ways, without necessarily needing to subscribe to a database, to find you know, the names of who's writing regularly about your sector and start to become familiar, and then build a database, build a CRM, look at their forward features, their editorial calendar, and just start to think about where you could see some opportunities, rather than just kind of waiting for inbound inquiries. If you want to kind of turn it so that it's outbound, it's you kind of making approaches. And what over time will happen is that then it may be that you haven't got a project to talk about, but actually you've got an opinion, there's a thought leader opportunity, there's a comment to make, and those giant journalists will start to kind of come to you for an opinion piece.
I think a lot of people think of, well, a lot of people within the design sector anyway, think of PR as being about getting their case studies out into the press, without realizing that it's so much more than that. It's about thought leadership. It's about speaker opportunities. It's about elevating the position of the business, and there are obvious benefits that then cascade down from that.
Exactly, because
Excellent.
you know, the DBA members' clients can find their source of inspiration in a myriad of places now. So you just never quite know where they're going to land. It might be word of mouth, it might be something they read, it might be something they see on social that sparks an idea to then get in contact. You just never know. So you kind of want to just cover all bases to give yourself the best opportunity, really.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. So
Pleasure.
thank you, Catherine. As we said at the top, there is a guide to go along with this video as well. It has all your contact details in. If a member is interested in just having a quick chat, just to see if
Sure.
if an agency is right for them, or even if they just want some advice, are you happy to
Sure.
take those
Very
calls?
happy. Yeah, it's always interesting to hear about all the different challenges and activities going on in the sector. So absolutely very happy to have a chat and point someone in the right direction if need be.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for your time,
Pleasure.
and we'll speak again soon.
Pleasure. Thanks, Adam.
Thank you. Thanks.